Hi, friends.
Oh, Brandon, you're muted, man.
Yeah.
It's the weekend.
Yeah.
So finally Friday. Things are just.
So just to recap, we said, oh my goodness, we have so many guests today. Welcome to Behind the Masterminds, episode 80. And it's 80, wow.
Yeah, he already skipped one. He was like, welcome to 81.
Yeah, I got ahead of myself a little bit there. But I think we should get into it, right? We have a big show today.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna make this quick with the intros because we're eager to get to our guests today. We'll go. You know what? Hold on, I gotta do it again. Sorry. Oh man, coming through. Today we're going to be discussing with them on how to start a puzzle game business. I'm sure a lot of you will be interested in this topic, especially for any future creators out there. So when I call your name and address, you please raise your hand, and then I can give a little brief intro on that person. First up, we have Steven, creator of ENIGMAILED from the UK. How you doing, Steven?
Very well, thank you.
He's a very familiar face on the show. I think it's your third time joining us live, I believe.
It is, and first time sober. So you gotta have some wins, right?
Finally.
Yeah, we're about
finally, yeah.
Always a pleasure. Hopefully we get you to the full show this time. ENIGMAILED creates postal and tabletop games, and I think escape rooms in an envelope is how you would want to perceive that. From fake magazines to delicious chocolates, perfect for original presents to delight curious minds. Next up, we have Caroline from Toronto. Hey, Caroline.
Hi.
Caroline is the founder of Scavenger Box, a company that creates scavenger hunt kits that you can use to easily build, personalize, and send someone on a scavenger hunt adventure. She and her fiance, Stefan, would frequently send each other on scavenger hunt adventures for special occasions like birthdays or Valentine's Day. And after sharing some of these adventures on social media, they realized from the response that their love for scavenger hunts could be turned into something bigger. They launched Scavenger Box in 2020 with the mission of making it easy for people to create magical moments and puzzling adventures for their loved ones. Their flagship product was a romantic scavenger hunt kit for couples, and they will be expanding this year with the new scavenger hunt kit being released before the end of 2022. She is an avid fan of The Office, Legend of Zelda, and escape rooms. All right.
We only have half of the romantic.
Yes, that's true. I'm representing both.
50% of it. And next we have Stacey, also joining us from the UK. Hey, Stacey, how are you? Are you and Stephen in the same area, same part of UK?
I'm from Cornwall, so I'm quite far down at the bottom.
Yeah, it's London, so no.
No.
No, basically.
All right, I guess that's a no. So Stacey is a puzzle designer and escape room creator. Her current business is called Escape the Puzzle Box, where she creates games in which you lock someone's gift inside of a box, and they have to solve a series of puzzles in order to unlock that box to get it. Her previous business was an escape room called Cornwall's Great Escape Rooms, which is where she found her love for puzzle designing. Her sister is now the owner of that business, as Stacey wants to concentrate on her family and her puzzle box business for now. All right. Last but not least, we have Spencer. How you doing, Spencer?
Hey, doing good.
Spencer is, well, obviously, Spencer is puzzling, is Spencer from the USA. Spencer, are you puzzling right now?
Always, at all hours.
I was gonna say you're glancing up and down, like I feel like you're doing something. Spencer is a game puzzle designer with 5 years experience in the escape room industry. He has designed escape rooms for companies like Escape Chronicles and Level Games. Though since then some of the games have moved to Trapped and Lost Games. It was his honor to design some puzzles for the 2022 Cryptex Hunt. He now designs tabletop puzzle games, with Lost in the Shuffle being his first effort in that space. He thinks he's a very funny and nice person, despite the version of himself he plays in Lost in the Shuffle. And you'll have to play the game to find out what that's all about.
Yeah.
And
Right
Stacey,
away.
stop me because I'm just going on and on and on, and it might become the Brandon show.
Yeah, I know. I'm like kind of bored. I'm like, when is he gonna stop?
All right,
Okay,
passing it over.
So, Spencer, we actually played Lost Games and also Trapped just recently in our Vegas. So I
Ooh,
wonder
nice.
which ones you designed.
The Fortune Teller, if you play
Okay.
down,
That was a good game.
and the Menagerie.
Oh, okay. We didn't do that.
No.
Yeah, but we did do also Cricketon as well. So
Yeah.
I'm looking
The
for.
Fortune Teller was the last game that I designed, so I like it the most because you always like the last game you make the most.
Yeah, right. It's most current.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So hopefully you liked it.
So I'm ready to go with all the questions because I know we have a whole bunch and we only have an hour.
Yeah,
So let's just go around the room for now and everyone give a little overview of your games, like what you currently have.
We'll start with our left to right. Stacey.
Okay, so I have a few games. I have Chasing the Tree of Life, which is one of my newest ones, which is kind of loosely based around it's kind of inspired by Tomb Raider, so it's kind of got like the Mayan temples and that kind of aspect to it. And then I've got Operation Swan Dive, which was my first puzzle box that I had designed. And I also have a few other games that which are more like child based, so therefore I've got like a Christmas box where like the naughty elf is hidden your Christmas Eve box with your presents in it around the house, and you have to it's kind of like an indoor treasure hunt for kids.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to solve like small puzzles in order to figure out where the elf is hidden in the box and the combination to unlock it. And I've got a pirate themed one too, so there's a few different ones. Yeah.
And where are you currently shipping?
I ship to America. Before Brexit, I was shipping to all the EU and everything. And I think I've only got 4 or 5 states left in America I need to ship to before I've shipped to everywhere in the States, which is quite cool. And I've got one more postcode left in the UK. And then I would have invaded the whole of the UK with it. But yeah, I ship to everywhere, and I'm trying to ship to some places in the EU, but it's just hard because you need to get certain tariff codes in order to ship there. So yeah.
Okay.
That's cool because normally people do like a travel map and they put a pin, and then for you guys it's like, I'm gonna put the shipping zip code pin.
Yeah.
Here.
Almost there. Nice. Okay, Steven, your turn. You have so many. I don't know if
Yeah. So
wrap it up.
With the remaining 55 minutes. So I've got the larger games, which are the Kickstarter ones. So Flat Pack and Full Deck. And then Ashwell was the fake magazine, and Poroboros was the drinking game disguised as coasters, which was like a tour of the best pubs in London. And that was a really interesting learning curve separately to that for Kickstarter. And then I've got my ENIGMAILED mainstays, which are the Undeliverable, which is a fake lost package game. The chocolate bars, which are really, really popular. Like they're the ones that probably we'll come on to later about doing something and finding that you found a niche that hasn't been explored yet. And I'm currently working on Notable Remains, which was my last Kickstarter, and a puzzle set called Monge 2, which was my desperate need to make something really, really small in a seed packet. So like today I was working on the penultimate episode of that. So yeah, a whole range and gamut of weird and wonderful things. Puzzly.
Yeah,
Busy guy.
Yeah, he's like nonstop with ideas. And he's probably like the only one that figured out how to ship like edible stuff overseas.
Yeah. I mean, it is like Stacey said, it's a minefield, and we are governed by a series of clowns in this country currently on a revolving. Like, I feel like next Tuesday it could be my turn to be either the Chancellor or the Prime Minister. And I can come up with some ideas, and then there'll be booed off. It's a disaster zone, so sort of you need as much light relief as possible to get through the pain that is living in the UK at the moment.
Yeah.
Agreed.
It looks like someone is disappointed that you're not wearing your maroon velvet smoking jacket.
That's upstairs in the boudoir, Mark, as you well know. So
It's in the house. It's within range.
It's in the house. Last time I wore a cape, didn't I? So yeah.
Well, we had you retrieve one. Like
He's
you
sober on this show.
Yeah.
So it's a little different. Yeah. All right, Caroline, give us a little intro.
Spiel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So ours will be, I guess, relatively quick because right now we have our one product that you mentioned, which is the romantic scavenger hunt kit. So we're excited to launch our next one soon. But yeah, so the main product we have basically gives you everything you need to send your loved one on a really cool puzzle adventure. So we see people use that for a lot of things like anniversaries or Valentine's Day, or even proposals.
I was gonna say.
You have also an add-on option.
Yeah. So you can add on little different puzzle pieces. So right now we have a candle that has a key embedded in the wax, and you get the lock, of course, too. So it's like a little piece to make the adventure a little more puzzly, a little more special.
Cool.
You know what I haven't seen in terms of business idea is like sending out like divorce notices with the puzzle game and like
Bring it down.
people need it.
Brandon, we have an envelope for you this evening.
Solve the puzzle first. Yeah.
Yeah, who wants to face that? Like I'd rather just send something.
It's an untapped market. It really is.
Well, I mean, in Stacey's case, that would be really messed up. You solve all this stuff just to open the box and find out that they're sending you a divorce letter. Like, what?
I mean,
Yeah.
at least it's a little more fun than it's being served. Right?
Yeah, I guess during the time.
Yeah,
That's
a
true.
puzzle really takes the fun out of being served divorce papers. You're right. You're right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And last but not least, Spencer.
Yes. I currently offer 0 products. Back to you in the studio. Very, very excited, though. My first offering will be live on Kickstarter on Monday, this coming Monday.
Hey.
And it looks like this.
Oh,
the back.
yeah.
The back of the box is prettier than the front of the box because it's meant to be a
Wait,
little bit
how
funny.
did you do that?
Did you just
it went to the other screen.
virtually
Catch it.
transferred a copy?
You guys just like. Wow,
Nice.
that was
That's
really
how
cool.
you ship. That's
That's
what
how
you
you
decide to do?
ship.
Yeah, you basically have to have a live stream, and then he just passes it through the live stream.
Wow.
Solved.
Instant shipping. Instant free
Yeah.
shipping.
Problem
Oh,
solved.
I got some chocolate here just now from
Oh,
me.
So
Wait, this
you're
angle
showing
is-
off now.
Hey, Steph. Thanks, bro. Thanks for this
Oh,
chocolate.
no worries.
That was good.
That's awesome.
What is happening?
This is all of my willpower not to eat this for 2 days, so I could show this off for this live stream.
That was
I'll pay you later, Spencer. Thanks.
Yeah. We do a live taste
You
test.
can get to your chocolate.
But
I
yeah,
tell you
it's going to
what,
be a deck of cards-based puzzle game. Hoping to cram about 3 to 5 hours of content into this deck of cards, with a fun little comical narrative that unlocks as you play via website. And yeah, meant to be puzzling and challenging as well as fun and entertaining. So far, it seems to be the case based off what I've heard. So far, so good.
3 to 5 hours. That's for sure. We
Yeah.
can definitely attest to that.
Nice.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah. All right. So I wanted to know, what is your approach on getting, like, because this is all like startups. You guys probably, like, some of you done like escape room company or sold your business to other business before, like puzzles or just like designs in an aspect. But how do you actually feel like when you started out like as a new business, how do you gain fan base? Like, do you I mean, I'm just trying to hear, like, in terms of advertising ideas for people who are coming out and just like starting out fresh. Should we start with Spencer? Yeah, let's go the other way.
All right. Yeah. I'm total newbie when it comes to this. I'm like just starting. I've got my first product offering. I had my other escape room businesses before, but this sort of feels like a fresh start as far as the at-home scene goes. So the sort of organic approach to grow your audience. It's like social media, email list, and stuff like that. I should have been trying to build that up months and months and months ago. Instead of I'm so bad at social media. I've tried to avoid it. My first Instagram post was a month ago. It was my first post ever on Instagram about this game. But I have been shotgunning this podcast, Crowdfunding Nerds. They have tons and tons of great advice on building an audience. Their forte is as a marketing company, so they're coming at it from that approach. But it's what a marketing company would do to try and get your Kickstarter to succeed, which is largely try and build you that audience. And then a blog at Stonemeyer Games. This gentleman, Jamie Stegmeyer, he blogs constantly and it's very, very informative stuff about successes he's had on Kickstarter, things he did wrong. And he's at this point, he has so many blog posts. He has them all nicely categorized down. So I'm enjoying the marketing and entrepreneurship section the last couple of weeks.
Right.
His book is superb. Have you got his book, Spencer?
I don't have his book. No.
Right, it's well worth it. I mean, I know you're starting Monday, but there's stuff for during and after. It's really It's really worthwhile. And I've done 5, and I'm still learning so many different little tips and tricks. Lots from him.
Yeah. Also, leaning on other designers in the space. Steph is very kind enough to give me lots of good advice and stuff like this.
Aw, that's great.
Well, Stephen, do you have the book? You could just send it to him through here.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I have lost it. But I do know the title, so I'll send it. I'll put it on this thread, and then you can share it with others because it's got some really, really good ideas. Let me I'll find that for you.
That's
Awesome.
great.
And Caroline?
Yeah, so first of all, I just want to say this is such a great question because as someone like starting a business for the first time, we poured our heart and soul into designing the product. And I think it's so important, and something that was a big learning for me is just how to reach people and how to grow that audience. It's, I think, equally important to designing the product. Some things that we tried that worked well for us that I think are pretty budget friendly, reaching out to journalists who are in your niche. So we happened to get featured by a couple magazines. We reached out to journalists who were covering sort of unique anniversary gift ideas. And that spreading of the word really helped when we didn't have much of an audience yet ourselves. Another tip that I would recommend is just the power of word of mouth is so huge. So when you have customers coming in, really asking them to support you. So we did a simple thing, including in all of our scavenger hunt kits, there's a little insert that just explains who we are, our story, the mission, and just asking them that, if they enjoy it, to spread the word. And I think that's a really powerful thing too.
Yeah, cool.
Great advice. Yeah. And Stephen?
So mine was basically lots and lots of interactions. So there's the puzzling people.
Yes, that's a
Facebook group. But I think that sometimes people with social media will just go in and say, "Here's my product. Here's my product. Here's my product." And I've always related social media to being like being at a party. You can't just walk in just speaking. You have to start conversations and joining conversations. So for the first year of ENIGMAILED, I tracked exactly how many followers I had, how many people I had followed, and tried to maintain conversations and joining conversations, not just talking about my stuff, but actually trying to share ideas and giving advice and taking advice as well. And it's the organic growth is one of the best ways, because you can, let's face it, you can buy Instagram followers, but they're not going to buy your products, are they? And I think that I've got a more loyal audience in response to building organically and authentically, because I know some of the people that follow and I can see them track across. So definitely get onto the social media buzz. And if you have got any way of working out how TikTok works, then good luck, because I find it intriguing. My children, because I've got 4 children, 3 of whom I like, and the oldest ones are on TikTok like the whole time, and trying to work out how to get into that market is incredible. And once I solve that, I'll have retired. I'm fairly sure. But obviously then, ironically, I'll be too old for TikTok. There we go.
I can't wait for the day that you become like, popular on TikTok and viral. I'm waiting.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to happen.
With all the variations of chocolates that you got, it should be really easy.
I can't work out, like, I've tried lots of different things on TikTok. Please don't search these out. And the stuff that I spend hours preparing gets no views, right? Or one comment from my daughter. And then I did this rant just to my phone as I was walking along one day, and that's had the most views ever. And the effort you put in doesn't calculate. I think I should just start dancing or cooking, or maybe combine them. I should cook with the chocolate
or
something.
hire your daughter and let her advertise the product. She probably already has.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know why I've got untapped market just next door. I should get them working for me more.
There you go.
Nice.
Stacey?
I think everyone's covered basically everything that I was going to say. There's one thing that I have found that's worked quite well in the past with using my combining my like social media and my website by I think in April I did a puzzle a day in April. So every day I would do a different puzzle, and then the next day you need to use the answer from the previous puzzle from the previous day to then be able to continue throughout the month, and at the end of the month you then get like a discount code for my shop or something. But that actually had a lot of engagement, like giving them something to kind of do and stay on your page.
Right.
I found that kind of worked quite well. Apart from like you said, like the social media and with emails and stuff like that and engagement, that's basically what I was going to say. So, I think that's basically covered everything that I would advise.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think overall, like, I'm hearing almost the same, like, consensus in terms of just suggesting that you should really interact and be organic with your audiences, and then make them feel like they should be, like, whatever they're playing or whatever feedback that they have, you're actually receiving, you're giving back to them in some ways. And you should, from that, you should probably be able to build like a loyal fan base.
Yeah.
So I read recently, and it was from a book called Key Person of Influence, that people need to like, know, and trust you. That's sort of a given, but it's 11 points of contact before they feel convinced enough to buy from you. Now, so that could be like a photograph, a mention, someone else talking to you, but 11 points. So I always think, like, when I put up an Instagram picture, I might not get any sales from it, but it might be for some people one of those 11 points of contact that could be the 11th one that makes them sell. So I think you've got to be careful about thinking, like, does every single thing need to try and sell a product? Rather, you should be giving a picture saying, this is what we do, this is what we believe, this is what we think about, and I've got in my mind constantly, like, make this one of the 11. Make this one of the 11 that reflects my brand's personality and character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's great. I mean, I would think that people would be like, if every day you're just asking me to buy, and then the same like concept in my head would be like, I'm not gonna buy then.
Well,
like that.
Maybe later.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I was listening to a podcast recently that had a similar concept, but they called it the AIDA, I think, AIDA, which is the cycle of if someone's going to buy your product, you need their attention first, and then their interest, and then their desire, and then they'll take action. Mm-hmm. And the point was it has to be in that order. Like, you can't skip a step. If you haven't got their attention or their interest, if you try to hit them with the buy this now because you desire it, it won't work.
Right.
So instead of posting about like, hey, buy it now, you need something about like, hey, check this out, I thought this was cool, or just anything to sort of try and get their attention. And then once you have their attention, the interest and the desire hopefully comes from them seeking you out instead of you having to ram it down their throats.
Yeah, no, I love that. That's definitely makes sense. And
Great. Now I have another acronym to remember. ADA. Okay.
Mm.
So I mean, like starting a new business must be kind of scary, right? Because like you're like, oh, I don't know if this how this is gonna go. But I wonder, like, what was your biggest fear on taking that first step? And have you conquered it? Like any stories to share?
let's start with the ladies. Caroline.
Yeah, so my biggest fear. Well, I guess a little background on us. So we are not coming from the puzzle design world. Stefan and I created scavenger hunts for each other, and we're just fans of escape rooms and puzzles. So I think for us, a big fear was just, how will people react to the product? You always kind of want to be like a fly on the wall, I feel, when someone is using your product, just to see their reaction. So that for me, especially initially, was something I was fearful of. I think the way that we kind of went about trying to manage that is just really upping the customer service, customer experience side of it. So just trying to really open those channels of communication and talk directly with our customers, learn from them, hear what they love, hear if, for something, and if something went wrong, what that was, and really try and manage that quickly. And it's helped a lot. I think that having that open communication with your customers and people who love what you're doing is so important.
Yeah, absolutely. A big part of what you said, though, is what makes a successful game designer is to be a fan of the industry or to actually partake in it. Like usually when we interview owners, the first question we ask is, "Oh, how many escape rooms have you played?" And then they'll tell us, but they're fans of the industry as well, which is why it shows in their creativity. So, yeah. Stacey?
My biggest fear, I guess, was that like once it's all put together, that the puzzles won't flow the way they're meant to. Like in your head when you're designing it, where like everything kind of links up and it all makes sense in your head. But then when it's actually on the paper and you're trying to get other people to do it and you're just watching them, like when they're testing it, you just gotta hope that it kind of flows well together. But I guess like that's kind of something that's kind of over time it's not so scary anymore, because I kind of have I have like testers who like test it to make sure that all the spelling and everything is correct and that it works, and then I will then get more testers, and then I'll get more testers before I actually release it to make sure it's all perfect. But I guess that's probably what was one of my biggest fears, is that like the design and the theme and everything, it was like so vivid in my head that it's not so vivid on the paper. But yeah, like I said, over time it's kind of worked out the kinks in that, and it's not so scary anymore.
Yeah, or like when you actually shipped out that first box and then you realize there's a spelling error or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
And like I'm dyslexic, so like for me it's like even more terrifying, because I'm like, it looks right to me, but then when other people test it, they're like, yeah, there's a spelling mistake here. I'm like, okay, let's redo the whole thing. Let's get it done again.
For sure.
But yeah, lots of trial and error and lots of testers. And to make it go smoothly.
Do you use the same testers usually, or is it like random?
I usually use because my family are all into puzzles. Because I first originally started my first escape room, so my mum and my younger sister, and then when I had my son, my older sister came down, she kind of took it over. So like the whole family are involved in puzzles, so they usually do like the initial test to make sure everything kind of flows right, and then I usually let it out to my like followers on Instagram or whatever. I usually do like a giveaway, and then they can become a tester for it, and then I ship it out to them and they can test it. So I get different testers each time, but the initial testers will be my family.
Great.
Utilize them.
Yeah. Spencer, are you currently experiencing any fear? Leading up to next Monday.
Exclusively. I'm having a hard time coming up with something that doesn't fill me with terror in this process. I think I think it all boils down to like, hey, what if imposter syndrome is like real? Like, what if the concept of imposter syndrome was just made up from someone trying to make me feel better, and really I am a big imposter? Which time will tell on that. But yeah, I think it's good though. I think the fear of failure is a good motivator to try and do things right, do things the right way.
Interesting.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
What about Steven? He has no fears.
He's
you wouldn't believe the TikTok that I was talking about was just before
back to the TikTok.
I launched just before I launched Notable Remains, and I was like, I'd got quite a few followers for the pre-launch, and I was excited about it. But I was also, you have this moment just before a Kickstarter where you think, what if no one is interested? What if my price point is completely disastrous? What if the page that you've lovingly spent hours over, days over, is completely misinterpreted or just ignored? And then I had this moment of realization where I'd made a game, and I was really, really pleased with it. And I went back to Martin Rainsford's opinion of, if one person enjoys this, then I've done my bit. Luckily, lots of other people bought into it as well, which is great. But I think that you do have a certain amount of fear and trepidation. So I went from full-time work to part-time work and doing ENIGMAILED part-time, but only when I felt financially secure enough to do that. Because obviously I've got hungry mouths to feed, and I wanted to make sure that I was making the right decision. So I made sure that I had enough in the pot to keep me going for 4 months. And then with those games that I made in those 4 months, I had another 4 months. So I live like I've got enough to be going with for the next year now, so that I know that I've got that secure income coming in. And what's weird now is that 90% of my sales are past products. So these are things that I've made, some of them up to 2 or 3 years ago. And so building up a back catalogue is really, really useful. And that takes away some of the fear, because I think that I know that if I don't make anything new in the next 3 months, I'll still sell things because I've still got a back catalogue. And the chocolates are brilliant for that, although the profit margin is minuscule. But I've noticed in analysing sales that people who buy the chocolate bars often will buy 1 or 2 chocolate bars, then subscribe, or will buy 1 or 2 and then buy everything from the back catalogue, which is amazing. So it's either way, I know that if I can get them in with a smaller product and they like my style of puzzle, because it's a certain type, it doesn't suit everyone, but it suits the people who do support it, then I know that I've got a back catalogue, and the larger my back catalogue, the more comfortable and secure I feel, because I have less of that fear. So it's nice to have that backstop for me.
Yeah.
The subscription idea is awesome, and of course the chocolates will lure the audience in is definitely the very, very smart.
Is it too late for me to enter the raffle too? Like, I need the chocolate right now.
What's interesting is we talked about playtesting, and I think that made me think 2 things. Firstly, it's really good to get as wide an audience for your playtesting as possible, from people who don't do puzzles at all, to see, and nothing beats watching someone try to solve a puzzle, because some people hate them, and so they will give up like within seconds, and then you have to work out how to lead them to solving the puzzle, and that gives you a really good hint system, right through to really accomplished puzzlers, and the way that they solve something, and sometimes get completely bewildered by something that is staring you in the face. It's only until that game is played that you actually see whether it can be played or not, whether it works or not.
Right.
I think that's really important point.
And
so I've
got. Go ahead.
Go on, Spencer. Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say, tying in the fear angle to that. I heard a quote the other day I thought like from a game designer that says, if it's the first time you're showing your game to somebody and you're not embarrassed, you waited too long to show that game to somebody.
Yeah. So I've got two secret weapons for playtesting. The first is I've got an ENIGMAILED Discord, and I've got some really brilliant people who are on there, and you can say, I'm working on this first iteration of a puzzle. What do you think? First thoughts, and they're brutally honest. But if you want really brutally honest, Reddit is amazing for that. So I've put some puzzles on Reddit before, and if they don't like it, they literally will tear it to shreds. So it's a really, really good way. So I've had some of my puzzles have been viewed like 15,000 times by Redditors and played like hundreds of times before they actually get released. If it's not working for me, I'll throw it out to the Reddit audience and see if they can solve it. Because they'll either say this is rubbish, or they'll solve it like within minutes, and you go, okay, I'm onto something here.
Right.
That's great.
Yeah.
Good advices. What is the audience saying?
I'm not sure. It appears.
Well, maybe they know. Maybe Sue knows what they're saying.
The all-out battle in the FB group for NR was a brilliant piece of marketing.
Oh,
Right. Yeah. So that was. Thank you, Tanya. It's very kind of you to say. That's from the guy who came up with Exploding Kittens, because they made. I read an article. Listen to a talk that he did for Google, so you can find that on YouTube. And they made $2 million in the first day, and then they saw the sales drop. And you kind of think, I'd be happy with $2 million in the first day, but they saw things slump, and they thought, well, how do we get things going? How do we make this interactive? And the aim was, and it's something that Jamie Gibbs actually said. Armchair Escapist, he said, I want to go back to that Kickstarter page every day and see something new and want to interact with it. So I thought about a competition based on the Exploding Kittens thing, which was to try and get two things. Firstly, to get people in a clan, so they felt a sense of a community. So there were North Clan, South Clan, East and West Clan. And also there were 12 challenges that people had to try and complete to get notable remains. And so that was a longer campaign. I think it was 14 days. I can't cope with the stress of anything longer than 14 days. I realised, because it's wildly stressful. You wouldn't believe. But it kept people coming back the whole time, and got that sense of community, which was it was super fun. I really enjoyed the Notable Remains campaign, because the other ones can be stressful. So Spencer, get a competition in your head to run alongside. You need to do it.
Yeah,
something's percolating.
I have conceptualized one, but I'm still everything I'm doing now is like a first for me as far as Kickstarter goes. So even stuff that everyone's just basic is like half hour of reading an article for me to be confident enough to scroll down further and start working on a new part of my Kickstarter page. So I do have I had an idea for in the game in Lost in the Shuffle. You'll type in answers on a website, and eventually I'm going to have some sound effects play, and I want to have a different sound effect play every single one. So it's like a hooray, or it's like a cowabunga, dude, or just like little pop culture clips and just fun stuff. And so I was trying to come up with an idea where Kickstarter backers would have like a bracket, like a sports bracket, where they would vote on which they thought was like the better sound effects to include, and then you could suggest your own and stuff like that. So that's probably, if I have some time between now and Saturday, that's I'll try and maybe that'll be a couple days into the campaign. I'll come up with that.
The voting and the pool and then forming teams. These are all great ideas for sure. I feel like Canada was versing US for a bit, like on your Team North and Team. Yeah,
there's a little bit of a.
I'm like, the Canadians are so nice. Are they really gonna really compete with people? I guess so. If it comes down to puzzling and getting a winner prize, then we're all in. All right, so going on with my next question. I'm assuming right now everybody's kind of utilizing their own individual work time or even like a part-time job that you're saying, or family members or friends who's willing to do free help, things like that. But do you see yourself expanding this business one day where you would hire outsiders and expand into a bigger expansion, or do you actually like this self-control aspect of this business?
Let's start with the guys. Sorry, Spencer.
No way, man. No way. It's just gonna be me. I did have the good fortune of, in my previous escape room businesses, that was partnered up with some friends and some colleagues for that. So I got that whole working with other people out of my system. But yeah, it's there's pluses and minuses to both. It's just so much easier to if you're working by yourself. No one's going to shoot down your ideas, except your wife.
I was gonna say you're leaving something out.
Yeah. But sometimes it is good to have your bad ideas shot down before you find out the hard way.
Okay.
But currently, from where I'm sitting, I really liked this process for the development of this game, even though it only took me 3 years doing it by myself. It was very nice to be able to go at my own pace, and a little lovely baby daughter was born a couple years ago.
Oh, congrats!
And so yeah. So being able to just like have do things at my own pace, put the game on hold if I need to. Might be nice to have a team to lean on to say, hey, you guys do that while I'm away. But also not having a team to let down while I can't do that is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Nice.
What
else?
Stephen?
So I worked with Matt on Flatpak, and we've got plans to work on something at the end of next year. And I use some contractors for different things. So I've got an illustrator that I've used for something for Notable Remains, and I farmed out like the proofreading and stuff. I am a bit of a control freak, but I also appreciate that anything that I share with someone else is often improved by their ideas. So I do like working with other people when I can tolerate letting go of an idea enough to say, yeah, it needs some polish. And a project on the runway for mid next year probably has got so many components that I'd be frankly mad to do it on my own. So I'm actually in the process at the moment of trying to spec up a sort of job description, because I'll be looking for puzzle designers and writers and illustrators for one particular project, which is like a year-long project at base. So yes, I'll definitely have to sort of bite the bullet and go, yes, I'd like to work with other people, but on a project together, which I'd be editing rather than writing, because like I have to do 2 chocolate bars every 2 months, and I'm doing a Mange 2, and I'm doing Notable Remains, and sometimes you just like, I need to have a break. I need to have a break from trying to cut, because I'm also terrified of doing the same puzzle twice.
Yeah.
So I don't know why, but I just like, well, Spencer knows. Spencer's been a subscriber from the beginning, that I've never repeated a puzzle on the chocolate bars, which is great. However, I'm on my 64th puzzle now. It's like I've got this thin strip that I've got to put a puzzle in. It's quite tricky, but yeah.
Okay.
That's definitely a challenge.
Yeah.
To not repeat puzzles and to come up with new ones.
Can confirm.
Especially when this group of puzzlers who's bought every probably game out there, for them to not see something or something new,
right.
it's pretty challenging.
And they remember everything, so it's like, oh yeah, this has been done before. This is
I remember back in April when this puzzle came out.
Yeah. Stacey?
Stacey?
Yeah, no, I definitely I plan on branching out, and just because I package everything myself as well. So like everything I sell, I package and ship out myself. I set all the padlocks myself and cut the chain. So I'm definitely like, I've got to the point, especially in the Christmas period, when I was getting like 100 orders a day, and I was like, how am I going to get these orders out and like printed and shipped and like put the postage labels on it, going to the post office? It was just so manic. I was just like, I need someone to do that for me. So that is definitely on the cards for this year. And also when it comes to doing the graphics for my puzzles, everything I do is done by me. So all of the drawings, everything is all me, which takes which makes like the puzzle development a lot longer because I have to do every single element myself. So I'm definitely going to be looking into that because I've got a big project which I was meant to have got finished by now. Like it's designed, it's very intricate. There's so many elements that if one thing is put out there before the rest of it's ready, then it just won't work. So yeah, I've got quite a few ideas that I just keep coming up with different projects. I'm like, right, if I had someone here, I could like pass that over. It's designed, you can just finish it off. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be looking into branching out and getting some people behind me to help out.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Caroline?
Yeah, I would echo that. We also definitely want to expand our team. We also are in the same boat where we're packing and fulfilling the orders ourselves, which is a big undertaking. And I think when you start a business, you kind of have your hands in so many different areas. So you're doing the marketing, the finances, the website development, packing and fulfilling orders. And it's great to get a sense of all those different pieces. But we also have learned quickly, where we don't have expertise, and we'd love to, tap into people in different, of those buckets so we can move faster. So yeah, we do want to grow and expand.
Good. Yeah, because I feel like what you guys are saying is like you kind of like the control aspect of it, or at least the creative side, but then hopefully somebody can take the miscellaneous stuff, the non-fun part.
I want to be the scrappy underdog.
Yeah.
That's me right there.
Packaging. All right, so then I guess the question comes down to, if someone wanted to start a business, a puzzling business, how much should they have as a starting budget? Like if they, I don't want them to be scared away. It's like, oh my God, you have to have this much in order to, start something.
I believe firmly that you can start with nothing. You can start with nothing because if I give you two examples, the first puzzle thing I did was a puzzle book that I sold on Amazon KDP. You don't need to pay to join that. You don't have to buy a single book yourself. It's sensible to, but you don't have to. You can upload it and then the sales come, so you don't have any stock at all. And for Flatpak, which was our first Kickstarter, that came out of a 60-day puzzle challenge where we made a page a day, and then we created mock-ups for Flatpak itself. So if you look at the original campaign pages, they were all mock-ups, and I don't even think we got one printed at that point because we had no funding for it. So I think you can have a successful Kickstarter campaign. You can start a successful business with nothing. Having said that, it really, really helps if you've got some funding. If you haven't got skills, to have some funding to buy a designer in and complement what you can't do, it'll elevate the product, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. What about anyone else want to expand on that? I feel like for Kickstarter, it's becoming more and more popular in the puzzling community, where people want to, because Caroline, you didn't have a Kickstarter, right?
No, yeah, but I would recommend. I think whenever you can find opportunities where you can get your idea, your product in front of people, and get feedback, test it, see interest before you are fully invested into building, that is awesome. So I think Kickstarter is a great idea. Etsy is another one where I know people have launched businesses, and you don't have to necessarily be building your own website and marketing it. Etsy kind of does that for you. So that's another great way, I think, where you can step into building your business and connecting with customers directly.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where you could have the most amazing product in the world, but if nobody knows about it, what difference does it make? It has to be able to get out there. It has to be marketing, advertising. I mean, if you're somebody that's great at doing that on your own, with social media or just word of mouth or connecting and networking, then great. And you have a product that matches with that and you can share that, then yeah, I mean, you can do it on your own. But companies like Kickstarter and Etsy, I think it definitely helps to push the product forward.
Especially just starting out, where the sort of goal, I think, when you're starting out isn't to make a ton of money and get rich. The goal is actually to get your name out there and grow an audience, so that you can get a back catalog of chocolate bars and then you're rich. But it's also sort of
kind of storyline here.
yeah. So I think it's sort of fortunate for the puzzle game scene on Kickstarter that there's so much crossover with the tabletop gaming market.
Yeah.
Because Kickstarter has become like the sort of like go-to place to start your tabletop game. So enthusiasts who want to get in on the new hotness right as it's getting launched are there on Kickstarter, waiting to back your puzzle game, hopefully.
Yeah, because they already have an audience, so use the free one that they already have.
I will say though that I didn't have a lot of money to start up the company or start the process or prototyping and stuff like that. But whenever I did splurge a little bit on a little bit of art or making a prototype and stuff like that, it's very motivating actually to especially when it's your hashtag side hustle to be like, all right, I just dropped $200 on some artwork. I better get to work on this. So I do think it's also a little motivating factor to invest in it. It helped me to actually get it done.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
Okay. I mean, like, this is really sort of like an overview of what you guys just said before, but any advice looking back now at what you've done and now that you have a business?
What would you change? What would you do differently?
No, like, I mean, just like, what would you give to someone who wants to start a puzzling business? Like, any...
All right, I'm ready to take notes.
I think we're quite an open community. I think that there's a lot of creators who are happy to share ideas and form partnerships. And so I've been chatting to Spencer behind the scenes about his Kickstarter. And when you make a Kickstarter, you can share a preview page with other people, and that's really, really good. And you can also send out your games to other people and get honest feedback. And the game that you send to a reviewer won't necessarily be the game that ends up being sold because you're taking on that feedback. But I would just ask questions because it's far better to let someone else make those first hurdles and mistakes and then discover this third person. So for example, I've ordered some coins from China for notable remains, and it's terrifying transferring some money to an unknown entity where they could just disappear and you don't know. And so I took a lot of advice from different people who'd already used this company. Now, it doesn't, the worst that someone can say is, no, I'm not going to help you, isn't it? Or they're going to ignore you. So you're better off asking. And I'm running a project at the moment, a separate project called 100 Rejections, on this basis that I'm trying to collect 100 rejections, which forces me to ask more questions and ask more favors and speak to people. And it's really, really worthwhile. So if there is someone who wants to set up a company or set up a Kickstarter, just ask some people in the community, because more often than not, they will be happy to help you because they're happy to mentor and support other people, because it only makes the whole community stronger. Like, no one thinks, oh, I'll try some puzzles and chocolate. They'll have done something beforehand before they get to my chocolate, I'd have thought. So if we are supporting each other, then it will build up the whole puzzling community.
Yeah.
Rant over.
I feel like the fear is a little bit less now, because I think previously when we first started talking to people about puzzle companies and things, they were a little worried about sharing because they keep thinking like people might copy their games or steal their puzzle ideas. But now
but the thing, the ideas, you can, we could all give you 100 ideas. It's the execution, and if you hold on to your ideas, then it's never going to happen. Like, Spencer's had this idea for 3 years. He's finally pulled his finger out and made it. And if he'd have said to someone, I've got this idea for a deck of cards, people would have suggested things. If someone would have stolen that idea, they'd have had to spend probably 3 years making it themselves. And they wouldn't have had the same impetus because it's not their idea. So we need to stop worrying less about people stealing ideas.
No, yeah. If I hadn't stolen the idea from Carte Rouge, I wouldn't be here.
Oh my god.
But this
No,
is
really
fun.
though.
So,
Yes, for sure. This is actually solvable.
yeah. It's more approachable for the novice solver. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Well, should we go around? Stacey, any advice? Final advice? Or
Extra advice?
Yeah.
Not really. Yeah, I think the main thing, like was said before, is just reach out to other creators, and yeah, don't be worried about getting rejected by them, and and yeah, definitely sharing your ideas and getting other people's advice is definitely the way to go. Because I've done it in the past where I haven't spoken out and been like, this is what I'm working on, what do you guys think? I kind of just left it, and then I end up talking myself out of the idea, no one's gonna like it, so if I had just posted it, someone might be like, actually no, that was a really good idea, you should have went with it, and I would have just thrown that idea away. So yeah, no, definitely don't be too worried about getting your ideas stolen, because what makes your puzzles unique is your mind. So even if someone tried to replicate what you were doing, it doesn't mean it's going to be any better than your games.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Matt said that he's going to be destroyed, his self-confidence. I think he should train with Steven.
Well, with 100 rejections, it might start to
I feel like it's one of those Zen Yoda training.
no, the aim is to get 100. The aim is to get 100 rejections. That's
the
aim.
goal is it. Okay.
Yeah, that's the goal. So
Yeah, that's the goal.
I've been trying all year.
How many have you done?
I'm on 38, and I've been trying really hard. So I'm on 38. What a missed opportunity, right? But I've got to meet a comedian. I had lunch with a hero. I've sold 2 of them are sales, but the other things are just experiences and stuff. So it's a good thing. It's worth trying, Matt.
38, yeah.
Only 38. All right.
Only
Okay.
38.
Well, is there anything else you guys want to share in terms of any new things that are
something
coming
new
out? I don't know why I'm
coming out?
asking Spencer. He's 3 years. He's finally
Spencer,
putting
you
out
got your
something.
next one ready? Is
I
it
have
3 years from now?
Funnily enough, I made a game before this that I was going to bring to Kickstarter, but it's way overly ambitious. It'd be way more expensive. It would come in a actual briefcase locked up. I made it as a Secret Santa gift eventually to realize it. But then in actually doing some research and being realistic, I wanted to come up with an idea that was easier to make. There's a whole history and infrastructure around printing decks of cards that already exist that I don't need to worry about. So yeah, fingers crossed that Lost in the Shuffle winds up being a hit. I actually do have the second one ready to roll, but it's more of a logistical challenge for me.
Right.
Do we have a name?
Getting some of my own coins from China. Yeah.
Or suitcase.
Is there a name for the suitcase game?
If Lost, Return to.
Oh.
Makes sense. Yeah.
So Caroline, I know I mentioned in the intro that you do have a game coming out towards the end of this year. Is there a name for that game?
Yeah, well, it's going to be called our classic scavenger hunt kit. And basically, so the idea behind that, a lot of feedback we've gotten from people is, are you going to come out with something that's not romantic? Is there something I can do that's, not for my romantic partner, maybe for a friend or family member? So we're really excited that in the next month or so, we will be launching that. So you can do it for anyone. It's super versatile. You can do anywhere. It's really kind of a classic trail of clues.
You should just call it the not so romantic scavenger.
Yeah, that would
My
work
friends
too.
were a little put off by all the rose petals and tea lights in the first one, so this is good.
Exactly.
Okay. And Steven, I know you mentioned a few projects, but anything you can tell us?
Yeah. So one is the one that I'm going to be looking for help with is a magazine that's coming out next year, hopefully. And I've got a very small escape room coming out as well. But I'm gonna
How small is
leave
it?
that.
When you say small,
Like
is it
miniature?
like one of those
Well, have you seen Book Nooks?
No.
I think I know where he's going with this
Okay.
though. Yeah.
It's a very small escape
Yeah.
room.
Okay.
Okay.
Probably the size of half a shoebox, or 11 slices of bread.
Ah.
I'm trying to
okay.
think of something that.
I just can't wrap my head around this metric system, you guys.
I mean, he just used bread, and
Yeah, I was like,
bread. I get.
Slice of bread. Yeah.
So, okay. It sounds like a dollhouse type of escape room, mini.
Very, very close. Very close. Yeah.
Doll. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I know that there's definitely a big miniature.
Oh, there's a community for
fan
fans.
base for
Yeah.
miniature.
Minis.
Yeah.
Stacey, what do you have in the works?
I've got a gadget lockdown box coming out soon. It's just on the final stages of being tested, so it's more like for like a family night, and everyone locks their phones in the box.
Oh.
And you have to keep like either a phone or a laptop out to be able to do some research. But basically, the theme of the game is there's a man who writes a letter to his wife, and he's going on a trip around the world, but she can go with him. So there's 15 different postcards of different locations around the world, and then you learn a few facts about the different countries within the puzzle solving process of it all. And then in the end, you'll get the 3-digit combination to be able to unlock the box.
Oh, cool.
So you kind of like learn at the same time as puzzle solving. So yeah.
I feel like a lot of parents are going to be buying this game. Like, put your phones in the box. You won't get in until you help me open this.
They just buy the box and lock the phone. That's what they're
Yeah, that's
what
what-
they're gonna do. Yeah.
You really want your phone? You better
Never
start
gonna
reading.
do something. So, all right, that's a lot of
Oh, my
fun. Well,
goodness.
thank you guys for
Yeah.
sharing all your expertise with the audience, and I'm sure this is going to be super helpful for anyone who's looking to take their first step to creating their own puzzle business. For anyone who didn't get a chance to, well, we're going to do the raffle.
We doing a raffle?
Yeah, we're definitely doing.
They
the
brought
raffle.
gifts?
By the way, I noticed that you did have some trailers. Do you want to show?
Well, let's
'Cause we
do a
forgot
trailer.
to-
Well, let's give the first one away.
Yeah.
We have from ENIGMAILED.
Okay, so let's do the raffle first, and then we'll
Let's
show
bring
the
the
trailer.
drummer in here. Hey,
Sure.
drummer, get in here. Okay.
But hold on, if anyone who doesn't even know about how to enter these, please go to our IG, which is ESCAPETHEROOMers, and you'll be able to find like details on how to enter for them. So if you'll make sure to do that like a week prior to our next show, because that's usually when we put out our raffle information. So our first one,
Wait, hold on. Let me get the drummer. All right, I'm here.
okay,
Ready, let's
from
go.
ENIGMAILED, 2 winners. And I secretly wanted to enter this one myself.
I actually did.
You did. I knew it was you. That weird one that has like no followers.
I
And
need
zero
some
posts.
chocolate.
Okay. So
All right, which one we giving out first?
the chocolate.
The chocolate? All right, who's getting this
All
chocolate
right, the
besides
chocolate
me?
goes to Tanya. I feel like Tanya was in here before.
Tanya. Tanya.
Tanya.
Okay.
Wow, how did that happen? This is inside.
I know, because I feel like
We have.
Something
So
like-
she gets a lot. She gets a lot of chocolate from me already. I have to say, right? We've got creme brulee as a flavour, and the bar's called Brulez-Vous, which in itself is a brilliant joke from Helen. But it's the most amazing flavour. So if Tanya likes that, and I've
Two
got
thumbs
a
up.
bar left, I'll send that to her.
One
It's
bar
how
left.
nice is that? How nice was that bar, Spencer? Just amazing, wasn't it?
It was really good.
yeah.
Like I tried
It
it.
had like little
after a while,
crispies in
you
it.
get
It
used
had
to
little crispies. It was like a full creme brulee experience.
Yeah,
Spencer, make sure you're getting paid
in a
up front for
different
this
colour.
advertisement.
It was phenomenal.
We do have a request though, because we're on ketos, we can't have sugar.
Yeah, we
so
want a keto chocolate
sugar-free?
bar.
the most boring is flavor. Yeah, I
Man
know.
alive. Buzzkill.
Oh, news travels fast.
Sugar
Yep.
free.
Congrats,
Oh,
Tanya.
look at that. Nice. All right, just email us and we'll send you the information.
Yep. And we got another one from
And-
ENIGMAILED.
Yeah. This one, I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing this name right. Is it name?
I know it.
Okay, go for it.
Is it Man Get Out?
Matt, oh, very good. Mange two. Mange two.
All right, I'm so off.
So I actually looked it up, and it's a French word. It means sweet pea.
Oh, I thought it was an
Yeah.
escape room thing. Man, get out!
So my daughter spotted the fact that mange two actually is man get out, and that made me think that's a brilliant idea for a prison escape package. So now that's why it's in packet of C's for prison garden, and it's how to get a prisoner out of prison using bits that are inside the packets.
Well,
so
it is
I
man get out.
That French word.
So you're both right. You're both right.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see who gets manja.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mange two.
Drummer.
Okay, and it's Instagram handle OHBE29. Yay! Congrats.
OB29.
OB.
Yeah, I don't know who that is, but we'll look them up and give them a follow.
OB28 was too slow in the drawer.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I thought the first 28 OBs were very disappointing. The 20 was my favourite.
All right, and the next one we have is from
Escape the Puzzle Box,
Okay.
and it's going to be any box of winner's choice. It's going to be shipped anywhere but the EU.
but the EU. No France, but the EU.
Okay, and the winner is
The winner is
Jen C. McNamee.
wow. She needs to play the lotto. Seriously,
Yeah,
Jen,
she's
you are
great.
on a roll. Congrats. Congrats.
Awesome.
And winner's
All right.
choice. Remember that.
Mhm.
All right, and the next one we have is from our
Spencer is puzzling.
soon-to-be released
Okay.
Monday Kickstarter.
Yeah. So you
here's-
can choose either the raw version, which is the one we played, or you can wait for the polished version when it's all.
But here's a
done
little
and
taste
good.
of what you can expect.
Okay.
Hi friends, I'm Spencer Beebe and I'll be your game designer this evening. So please allow me to introduce to you my new, very excellent puzzle game, Lost in the Shuffle.
That needs to be TikTok right there.
Spencer, do you do magic?
Whoa.
No, I actually can do very, very bad magic. But
that's not
that
you
was
over there with
that
the
was
shuffle?
no, that was a colleague of mine named Tai Din, who was a very, very talented magician.
That
yeah,
move.
you
was
could have
definitely
fooled us.
magician.
I love the yeah.
Nice.
That's a TikTok video right there. I mean,
yeah, for
it should
sure.
be uploaded.
Don't dare say that.
All right, and
All
the
right,
winner?
The winner,
is-
remember, you can choose this game immediately and get the raw version, or wait to the actual finished product.
And it's on. Ready? Nicole Baxter.
Oh wait, no, sorry.
Great.
Oh,
thanks,
no.
Nicole.
Do we,
No one saw
maybe we
that.
can pick another one. That's my sister.
That's your
Oh,
sister.
Yeah.
That's your sister.
Aw. Okay, well, we'll give it to someone else, but she really loves your game. She's like, I'm gonna get one, even though I have one.
Wow.
Nice.
Well, she's trying to reserve.
She actually
some
doesn't have
copies.
this version. She play tested. She had to print it out on paper herself, like a commoner.
Oh, she has the raw version.
Yeah.
Aw, she should.
She got the version that was really unfair before I made all the puzzles actually solvable. Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Well, let's get this last one out. You want to talk about it before I play this
Scavenger
trailer?
box, yeah, they're romantic scavenger hunt kits with their 2 available add-ons, extra rose petals and a candle, which she said with a key in it that is embedded in the wax. It sounds like a perfect Valentine's Day.
Let's see.
Are we ready for the winner?
Hold on. Got a little something in my eye.
Oh my god.
Is it gone? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right, and one more time. Let's get the drummer out here.
Yeah.
Winner is
Escape Room Escapades, and I know what that is.
Escape Room
Krista
Escapades.
Jones, congratulations. Actually, I don't know if I should congratulate her or David, because then David was like, I don't know if you want me to plan, but now he has like a thing to plan for Valentine's Day, so
or Christmas.
He's probably super happy about it. Oh my god.
Yeah.
A free, like he doesn't even have to think of an idea anymore. Because they just recently got married, because I gotta keep that romance going. So
Exactly.
Go to the first anniversary. And you already have
I like that. I've got to keep the romance going. Not I want to, or it is going, but I've got to.
Got to.
Yeah,
and
right?
bold. T-O-T-T-O. Yeah.
All right, thanks. So thank you guys for all these amazing puzzles. I'm sure from now till Valentine's Day or whatever, people will just have so many holidays are coming up, and this is such a great thing for people to start playing with family, friends, and or just try to enjoy it themselves. I don't think the chocolate is going to be shared though. That's all I.
That's the reverse effect.
Yeah,
it's like, no, it's mine. It's mine.
Anyways, this episode is brought to you by our episode sponsor, Game Over Escape Room Tampa. Game Room Escape Room, it creates premium quality themed escape room, being one of the leading escape room franchises across the globe in 22 countries. With strong presence in Europe and Middle East, Game Over expands steadily to U.S. markets, starting from Florida and being well known in quality and games immersive experience. They currently have 4 locations already in Florida.
Yeah.
When we went, they didn't even have. Well, they had 1.
Well, we went to the Tampa location.
And a number of new franchises are being discussed across the U.S. and Canada. So you can visit escapegameover.us for more information. And if you're interested in becoming a BTM sponsor, please email us at info@escapetheroomers.com. So we do have a little break before our next episode, though, which will air on Friday, October 28th. And since we're approaching Halloween, we thought it's a perfect time to bring in some horror escape room creators from all over the world to chat about what would make the best horror escape game. And I hope you're ready for some spookiness.
Yeah, where's the haunt fans? We definitely need you here to...
We dare you to join us at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on October 28th.
Yep.
Thanks so much, guys.
Bye,
Thank you.
guys.
Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Cheerio.